let's see. Since Lord Shiva is in this material world, the energy of the Supreme Lord Vishnu includes Lord Shiva. Lord Vishnu is therefore called Jagat Vyapi, the all-pervading Lord. Lord Shiva is sometimes called Maheshwara. Maheshwara. And so people think that Lord Shiva is everything. But here the Lord addresses Lord Vishnu as Jagat Isha, the master of the universe. Lord Shiva is sometimes called Viveshvara, but here he addresses Lord Vishnu as Jagan Maya, indicating that even Vishveshvara is under Lord Vishnu's control. Lord Vishnu is the master of the spiritual world, yet he controls the material world also. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Maya Dakshina Pakriti, Suyatesa Characharam, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are also sometimes called Ishwara, but the supreme Ishwara is Lord Vishnu. Lord Krishna, but the supreme Ishwara is Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna. As stated in Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna. The Supreme Lord is Krishna, Lord Vishnu. Everything in existence works in proper order because of Lord Vishnu. Andantarasta Paramanu Jayantara Stitam. Even Paramanu, the small atoms, work because of Lord Vishnu's presence within them. Okay, so Lord Vishnu is everywhere. Text number 5. The manifest, the unmanifest, false ego, and the beginning, maintenance, and annihilation of this cosmic manifestation all come from you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because you are the absolute truth, the supreme absolute spiritual soul, spirit soul, the supreme Brahman, such changes as birth, death, and sustenance do not exist in you. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. According to the Vedic mantras, Yatova imani bhutani jayante. Everything is an emanation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as stated by the Lord Himself in Bhagavad Gita 7.4. Bhumir apo nalo vayu kam mano buddha evacha ahankara ityam me bina prakritir astada. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. All together, these 8 comprise my separated material energies. In other words, the ingredients of the cosmic manifestation also consist of the energy of the Supreme Personality of God. This does not mean, however, that because the ingredients come from Him, He is no longer complete. Purnasya Purnam Agaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate. Because He is the complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from Him, He remains the complete balance. Thus, the Lord is called Avyaya, inexhaustible, unless we accept the absolute truth as Achintya Veda Abeda, simultaneously one and different. We cannot have a clear conception of the absolute truth. The Lord is the root of everything. Aham Adir Hidevanam. He is the original cause of all the devas, or demigods. Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. Everything emanates from him in all cases. Nominative, objective, positive, negative, and so on. Whatever we may conceive of in this entire cosmic manifestation is in fact the Supreme Lord. For him, there is no such distinctions as this is mine and this belongs to someone else, because he is everything. He is therefore called Avyaya, changeless and inexhaustible, because the Supreme Lord is Avyaya. He is the absolute truth, the fully spiritual Supreme Brahman. Okay, that settles it. Text 6. Pure devotees or great saintly persons who desire to achieve the highest goal in life and who are completely free from all material desires for sense gratification engage constantly in the transcendental service of your lotus feet. I like this verse. It's a good verse. Purport. One is in this material world when he thinks, I am this body, and everything with reference to my body is mine. Ato griha chitra sutatta vitar janasya mohoyam aham mameti. This is the symptom of material life. In the materialistic conception of life, one thinks, this is my house, this is my land, this is my family, this is my state, and so on. But those who are munaya, saintly persons following in the footsteps of Narada Muni, simply engage in the transcendental government service of the Lord without any personal desire for sense gratification. Anya birasita sunyam jnana karmadi anavritam. Either in this life or in the next, the only concern of such saintly devotees is to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, they are also absolute because they have no other desires. Being freed from the dualities of material desire, they are called Shreyas Kama. In other words, they are not concerned with Dharma, religiosity, artha, economic development, or kama, sense gratification. The only concern of such devotees is moksha, liberation. This moksha does not refer to becoming one with the Supreme, like the Mayavadi philosophers. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained that real moksha means taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme, of the personality of Godhead. The Lord clearly explained this fact while instructing Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya wanted to correct the word Muktipade in Srimad Bhagavatam, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informed him that there is no need to correct any word in Srimad Bhagavatam. He explained that Muktipade refers to the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, who offers mukti and is therefore called Mukunda. Mukunda means one who liberates. A pure devotee is not concerned with material things. He is not concerned with religiosity, economic development, or sense gratification. He is interested only in serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Well, that's a real devotee. Text 7. My lords, you are the supreme Brahman, complete in everything. Being completely spiritual, you are eternal, free from the material modes of nature, and full of transcendental bliss. Indeed, for you there is no question of lamentation, since you are the supreme cause, the cause of all causes. Nothing can exist without you. Yet we are different from you in a relationship of cause and effect. For in one sense, the cause and effect are different. You are the original cause of creation, manifestation, and annihilation, and you bestow benedictions upon all living entities. Everyone depends upon you for the results of his activities, but you are always independent. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead says in Bhagavad Gita 9.4, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat agyakta vortina matstani sarvabhutani na chaham tesu avastita. By me, in my unmanifested form, the entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. This explains the philosophy of simultaneous oneness and difference, known as Achintya Veda Aveda. Everything is the Supreme Brahman, the personality of Godhead, yet the Supreme Person is differently situated from everything. Indeed, because the Lord is differently situated from everything material, he is the Supreme Brahman, the Supreme Cause, and the Supreme Cause, the Supreme Controller, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha. The Lord is the Supreme Cause, and his form has nothing to do with the material modes of nature. The devotee prays, as your devotee is completely free from all desires, your lordship is also completely free from desires. You are fully independent. Although all living entities engage in your service, you do not depend on the service of anyone. Although this material world is created complete by you, everything depends on your sanction. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Mata Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. Remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness come from you. Nothing can be done independently, yet you act independently of the service rendered to your servants. The living entities depend on your mercy for liberation, but when you want to give them liberation, you do not depend on anyone else. Indeed, by your causeless mercy, you can give liberation to anyone. Those who receive your mercy are called Kripa Siddha. To reach the platform of perfection takes many, many lives. Bhavanam janmanamante yanavam mam prapadyante. Nonetheless, even without undergoing severe austerities, one can attain perfection merry, by your mercy. I'm sorry. Devotional service should be unmotivated and free from impediments. Let's see. Ahanjiki,
Ahaitaki.
yeah, ahaitiki, apatraha,
Apratihata.
yeah, yayatma supersidity. This is the position of nirasisa, or freedom from expectations for results. A pure devotee continuously offers transcendental loving service to you, but you may nonetheless offer mercy to anyone without depending on his service. Text number 8. My dear Lord, your Lordship alone is the cause and the effect. Therefore, although you appear to be two, you are the absolute one. As there is no difference between the gold of a golden ornament and the gold in a mine, there is no difference between cause and effect. Both of them are the same. Only because of ignorance do people concoct differences and dualities. You are free from material contamination, and since the entire cosmos is caused by you and cannot exist without you, it is an effect of your transcendental qualities. Thus, the conception that that Brahman is true and the world is false cannot be maintained. Okay. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Sri Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur says that the living entities are representations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's marginal potency, whereas the various bodies accepted by the living entities are products of the material energy. Thus, the body is considered material and the soul is considered spiritual. The origin of them both, however, is the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. As the Lord explains in Bhagavad Gita 7.4-5, Bhumir aponalo vayu kam mano budir eva cha ahankara ityame vina prakritirastata aparayam itaswanyam pakritim vidime param jiva bhutam mahabaho yaryadam dayate jagat. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. All together, these 8 comprise my separated material energies. But besides inferior nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is a superior energy of mind, which consists of all living entities who are struggling within material nature and are sustaining the universe. Thus, both matter and the living entities are manifestations of energy of the Supreme Lord. Since the energy and the energetic are not different, and since the material and marginal energies are both energies of the Supreme Energetic, the Supreme Lord ultimately, the Supreme Lord, ultimately the Supreme Personality of Godhead is everything. In this regard, the example may be given of gold that has not been molded and gold that has been molded into various ornaments. A gold earring and the gold in the mine are, are different only as cause and effect. Otherwise, they are the same. The Vedanta Sutra describes that Brahman is the cause of everything. Janmaya Asya Yata. Everything is born of the Supreme Brahman, from which everything emanates as different energies. None of these energies, therefore, should be considered false. The Mayavadi's differentiation between Brahman and Maya is only due to ignorance. Haribol. Srimad Vira Raghava Acharya, in his Bhagavata Chandrika, describes the Vaishnava philosophy as follows. The cosmic manifestation is described as Sat and Asat, as Chit and Achit. Matter is Achit, and the living force is Chit. But their origin is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in whom there is no difference between matter and spirit. According to this conception, the cosmic manifestation, consisting of both matter and spirit, is not different from the Supreme Personality of God. Idam hi Vishvam Bhagavan Viveka Tara. This cosmic manifestation is also the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although it appears different from Him. In Bhagavad Gita 9.4, the Lord says, Maya tam idam sarvam jagat avyaktavortinam matstani sarvabhutani nachaham tesu avastita. By me in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Thus, although someone may say that the Supreme Person is different from the cosmic manifestation, actually, he is not. The Lord says, Mayatatam idam sarvam. In my impersonal feature, I am spread throughout the world. Therefore, the world is not different from him. The difference is a difference in names. For example, whether we speak of gold earrings, gold bangles, or gold necklaces, ultimately they're all gold. In a similar way, all the different manifestations of matter and spirit are ultimately one in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ekam eva dvitiyam Brahma. This is the Vedic version, Chandogya Upanishad 6.2.1. There is oneness because everything emanates from the Supreme Brahman. So that's the main statement right there. Everything is oneness because everything emanates from the Supreme Brahman. The example already given is that there is no difference between a golden earring and a gold mine as it is. The Vaisheshika philosophers, however, because of their Mayavada conception, create differences. They say, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mitya. which means that the Brahman is the truth and the material nature is mithya, false. The absolute truth is real and the cosmic manifestation is false. But why should the Jagat be considered mithya? The Jagat is an emanation from the Brahman, and therefore the Jagat is also true. Vaishnavas, therefore, do not consider the Jagat to be mithya. Rather, they regard everything as reality in connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anasaktasya vishayan yatharham upayanjata nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yukta vairagyam uchyate. Second. Prapan achikataya buddhya hari sambandhi vastuna mumukshubhi parigyago vairagyam falgu katyate. Things should be accepted. Things should be accepted for the Lord's service and not for one's personal sense gratification. If one accepts something without attachment and accepts it because it is related to Krishna, one's renunciation is called yuktam vairagyam. Whatever is favorable for the rendering of service to the Lord should be accepted and should not be rejected as a material thing. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.255-256. The Jagat, meaning the material nature, should not be rejected as mithya, meaning false. It is truth, and the truth is realized when everything is engaged in the service of the Lord. Now, see, that's a wonderful statement. That's a very profound statement. Let me read it again. Whatever is favorable for rendering of service to the Lord should be accepted and should not be rejected as a material thing. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.255-256. The Jagat should not be rejected as mithya. In other words, Jagat, the material nature, should not be rejected as mithya, false. It is truth, and the truth is realized when everything is engaged in the service of the Lord. That is a profound statement, wonderful statement. A flower accepted for one's sense gratification is material. But when the same flower is offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead by a devotee, it is spiritual. You see how the same thing can be two things. One is something that is false. On the other hand, it is actually real. It all depends how we use it. If we use something for sense gratification, it's false. If we use something to serve the Lord, it's real. It is spiritual food. Food taken and cooked for oneself is material. But food cooked for the Supreme Lord is spiritual, prashada. This is a question of realization. Actually, everything is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore, everything is spiritual. But those who are not advanced in proper knowledge make distinctions between the interactions of the three modes of material nature. In this regard, Srila Jiva Goswami says that although the sun is the only light, the sunshine, which is exhibited in seven colors, the darkness, which is the absence of sunshine, are not different from the sun. For without the existence of the sun, such differentiations cannot exist. There may be varied nomenclature because of different conditions, but they are all the sun. The Puranas therefore say, Ekadesha Stita Yagner, Jyotsna Vistareni Yata, Parasya Brahmana Saktis Tatedam Akilam Jagat. Just as the illumination of fire, which is situated in one place, is spread all over, the energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Param Brahman, are spread all over this universe. Vishnu Purana 1.22.54. Materially, we can directly perceive the sunshine spreading itself according to different names and activities, but ultimately the sun is one. Similarly, Sarvam Club Idam Brahma. Everything is an expansion of the Supreme Brahman. Therefore, the Supreme Lord is everything, and He is one without differentiation. There is no existence separate from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's the takeaway for today. There is nothing separate from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, in the material concept, there are many things that are considered different. But actually, everything is coming from Krishna. Nothing is independent of the Lord. But today, because of lack of bona fide knowledge, people consider that there are many things that have nothing to do with God. And because of that, they engage in all kinds of sinful activities. It's just like let's say, a a cow. The cow is sacred. It should be worshipped because Krishna loves cows. Yet you have people that eat cows. That means that they're engaged in serious sinful activities. But yet millions and millions of people don't understand that. Therefore, they eat cows. In the same way here, it says that there may be varied nomenclature because of different conditions, but they are all the same. The Puranas therefore say, Ekadesa Sitasya Agnir, Josna Vistareni Yata, Parasya Brahmana Saktis, Tatedam Akilam Jagat. Just as the illumination of a fire, which is situated in one place, is spread all over the energies of the Supreme Personality Godhead, Param Brahman, are spread, Param Brahman, are spread all over this universe. Vishnu Purana 1.22.53. Materially, we can directly perceive the sunshine spreading itself according to different names and activities, but ultimately the sun is one. Similarly, Sarvam Klav Idam Brahma, everything is an emanation of the Supreme Brahman. Therefore, the Supreme Lord is everything, and He is one without differentiation. There is no existence separate from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Well, see, that means that whatever you see in the material world is coming from the Lord. And it's none different than the Lord's. But people make so many different categories and lose the, uh, the, the concept that everything is the Lord. They think, no, 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 that has nothing to do with the Lord. And, and they manufacture these illusory concepts. And therefore, the world is in a situation of chaos because people cannot see that everything is emanating from the Lord. Therefore, they act as if, well, we can eat cows, or we can also abort babies and so forth. They do all kinds of crazy things like that because they don't see that everything belongs to the Lord. And no one has the right to unnecessarily kill uh, living entities. Prabhupada also, he didn't like to see devotees cutting down trees.
Wow.
Yeah, because tree is a living entity, right? So we should never cut down a tree unless it's absolutely necessary. But it's very few conditions in which trees are absolutely necessary. And because of that, the Prabhupada did not cut down trees. And there are temples where you see that there are trees in uh, in places where you'd never think that the tree should be. Because Prabhupada would not let the devotees cut down trees unnecessarily. Okay, so text number 9. Those who are known as the impersonalist Vedantists regard you, meaning Krishna, as the impersonal Brahman. Others, known as the Maimasaka philosophers, regard you as religion. The Sankhya philosophers regard you as the transcendental person who is beyond Prakriti and Purusha, and who is the controller of even the demigods. The followers of the codes of devotional service, known as the Pancharatras, regard you as being endowed with 9 different potencies. And the Patanjala philosophers, the followers of Patanjali Muni, regard you as the supreme independent personality of Godhead who has no equal or superior. Well, you see, this just is a statement that different people have different realizations of the Lord. They're talking about the same Lord, but in such a way that it seems that there's a difference. So, some people are followers of the codes of devotional service known as the Pancharatras. They regard Krishna as being endowed with 9 different potencies. And the Patanjala philosophers, the followers of Patanjali Muni, regard you as the supreme independent personality of Godhead who has no equal or superior. And then also there are Sankhya philosophers regard you as the transcendental person who is beyond Prakriti and Purusha, and who is the controller of even the demigods. The followers of the code of devotional service known as the Pancharatras regard you as being endowed with 9 different potencies. And the Patanjala philosophers, the followers of Patanjali Muni, regard you as the supreme independent personality of Godhead who has no equal or superior. Okay, so there are many conceptions. There are impersonal conceptions, there are personal conceptions, and so forth. Different philosophical, uh, let's say, philosophies, and so forth. That does not mean that these things are different than Krishna. Krishna is everything. You cannot separate Krishna from everything. But yet, it seems by, uh, let's say, uneducated persons that they make differentiations. Just like in uh, the uh, yeah, the in World War II, the uh, there was uh, these nonsense people who were killing Jews. They saw Jewish people as not being, uh, let's say, worthy of living, and they tried to kill as many as they could. That's that is really a false conception. A Jewish person is not different than another person, right? Who's a non-Jew, right? But the what do you call them? Uh, the anyway, there was a group of people considering that the Jews were not worthy of living, and it massacred them. But that's only one example, but there's many other examples in this way, where some people are considered to be less than human, although they're humans. And because of that false identification, they're murdered. Okay, so it says, "Oh my Lord, I who am considered to be the best of the demigods, and Lord Brahma, and the great rishis, headed by Marichi, are born of the mode of goodness. Nonetheless, we are bewildered by your illusory energy and cannot understand what is this creation, and cannot understand what this creation is. Aside from us, what is to be said of others, like the demons and human beings, who are in the base modes of material nature, Raja Guna and Tamaguna? How will they know you?" Yeah, it's not going to be easy. You're in Rajaguna or Tamaguna. Purport: factually speaking, even those who are situated in the material mode of goodness cannot understand the position of the Supreme Personality of God. When, what then is to be said of those who are situated in the Rajaguna and Tamaguna, the base qualities of material nature? How can we even imagine the Supreme Personality of God? There are so many philosophers trying to understand the absolute truth, but since they are situated in the base qualities of material nature and are addicted to so many bad habits like drinking, meat eating, illicit sex, and gambling, how can they conceive of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? For them, it is impossible. For the present day, the Panchar Triki Vidhi, as enunciated by Narada Muni, is the only hope Srila Rupa Goswami therefore has quoted the following verse from the Brahma Yamala. Shruti Smriti Purana Pancharatra Vidim Vina Aikantaki Harir Bhaktir Utpatayaiva Kalpate. Devotional service of the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic literatures like the Upanishads, Puranas, and Narada Pancharatra is simply an unnecessary disturbance in society. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.101. Those who are very advanced in knowledge and are situated in the mode of goodness follow the Vedic instructions of the Shruti and Smriti and other religious scriptures, including the Pancha Trikividi, without understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead in this way. Okay, in other words, that's that is that it explains that unfortunately people are seeing in different ways. But without understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead in this way, one only creates a disturbance. In this age of Kali, so many gurus have sprung up, and because they do not refer to the Shruti Smriti Purana, the Pancha Trika Vidin Vinam, they are creating a great disturbance in the world in regard to understanding the absolute truth. That's the absolute truth. That is completely correct. However, those who follow the Panchachiki Vidhi under the guidance of a proper spiritual master, very important point, can understand the absolute truth. It is said, Pancharatrayas ya Kritsnaya Vakta to Bhagavan Swayam. The Pancharatra system is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just like the Bhagavad Gita. Vasudeva Sarvam Vidur Anjasaiva. The truth can be understood only by one who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Vasudeva. Pavanam Janmanamante Ganabamam Prapadyante Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. After many, many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Bhagavad Gita 7:19. Only those who have surrendered to the lotus feet of Vasudeva can understand the absolute truth. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Gyanayat Yasu Vairagyam Gyanam Chayat Ahaitukam. By rendering devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. Bhagavatam 1.2.7. Therefore, Vasudeva, Bhagavan, Sri Krishna, personally teaches in Bhagavad Gita, Sarvadharman Purityaja Mamik Parambraja. Sarvadharman Purityaja Mamikam Saranambraja. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender to me. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavanyas jasmitatvata. One can understand the Supreme Personality as he is only by devotional service. Bhagavad Gita 18:55. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is not properly understood even by Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma. What to speak of others? But he can be understood by the process of bhakti yoga. Maya Shakta Manakparta Yoga Munchan Madashraya Asamsayam Samagram Mam Yata Gyas Jati Just Yasi Tatshrinu. If one practices bhakti yoga by taking shelter of Vasudeva Krishna, simply by hearing Vasudeva speak about himself, one can understand everything about him. Indeed, one can understand him completely. Samagram. Okay, so what's being said here is very, very important. It's very essential to be a devotee. What's being said is that there's only one Supreme Personality of Godhead. There's not different personalities that are also on the same level as Krishna. No, everybody is subordinate to Krishna. And therefore, one should not think that there are other personalities that are equal to or greater than Krishna. Everyone is subordinate to Krishna, and that means that everything is coming from Krishna. It's not that, well, this one is different, that one is different. No. Uh, Everyone is ultimately emanated from Krishna himself, and therefore one should only worship Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Unfortunately, this is not understood by many people, and because of that, there's so much confusion in this world today. Just like you'll see that there's so many different movements and philosophies and different concepts of Krishna or God, and people are following different paths that have nothing to do with Krishna. So this is the confusion that's taking place now, and it is creating situations that may be horrible, such as war. Just like the World War II, uh, uh, the people were being crucified, or in other words, killed, because of a false concept of who is a person worthy to be living and who is not someone worthy to be living. So uh, uh, so people were killed on the basis of false identification, and so therefore the Jews were being killed because uh, a certain group of people considered them to not be worthy of uh, be a human being. So this type of crazy philosophy creates havoc in the world and creates horrible situations where many people are being killed because they are considered not to be worthy of living. Yeah, when um, the mm, there were people that were considered not worthy to be living, not worthy to be human beings in World War II, and they were killed massively. Hundreds and thousands of people were killed because they were not considered to be worthy to live and to be, you know, what you would say, uh, on the correct level of a human being. Okay, so let's see. I think the time is over, right? Is that right?
Yeah, yes, Maharaj.
Okay, all right, we'll stop right there. Are there any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? You see, the main point is when people make false identifications and separate from uh, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they make so many different categories, and because of that, they it results in people thinking that this one is inferior, this one is superior, and it gets so severe that they falsely uh, claim that certain people should be killed and other people uh, should be part of a superior class, uh, and, uh, and because of that type of identification, many people are killed unnecessarily. Yeah, if you read the Mein Kampf, written, there's a book written by what's his name?
Hitler Maharaj?
Huh?
Hitler?
Yeah,
Oh, Hitler.
he wrote a book, Mein Kampf, you know, and it was all about killing the Jews and also other. Uh, not only the Jews were killed by the Nazis, there were a lot of other people that were considered not worthy to be a human being, like gypsies and so forth. And it was all by a false philosophical concept. It's that's really frightening that you get these type of people who make a false philosophy and it ends up killing hundreds and thousands of people because it's completely false, a completely false philosophy. We have to be very, very careful not to be cheated by such people who create all kinds of different levels of who is worthy to live and who is not worthy to live. Every living being is sacred. That means that even the ants, you should not kill an ant. Prabhupada was teaching us like that. No living entity should be killed. Some people they enjoy, like when they're walking down the street, they see an ant, they step on it, and they don't think it's wrong. Uh, or some crazy person like Hitler comes and he identifies certain groups of people to be unworthy of living, and then they're massacred. It's the same thing, whether you're killing the ant or you're killing a human being. First of all, you have to make a false identification of who that person or thing is, and then without any second thought, you kill them. Just like I remember one time, my one of my kids was playing with the neighbor's kids, and the neighbor's kid he had he had some uh, uh, liquid that was uh, uh, that you could put a match to, and then it would burn right away. So he was pouring that liquid in the holes of ants and setting it on fire, and then enjoying to see the ants being killed. And one of my kids was watching this, and and I told the kid that was burning the ants. I said, stop this. This is not right. And then he started crying. And then he went and ran to his mother and said, "Oh, he just said this, and blah, 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 blah." Right? And then the mother came running to me and said, "What did you say to my child?" I said, "Well, I told him that he should not be killing ants." But worse than that, he was using what you would call a highly dangerous liquids that catches fire very easily, and he could have been burned or killed by playing with this what do you call that type of liquid?
Gasoline.
Yeah, it was like a gasoline thing. And so I explained it to her like that, she said, "Oh, thank you very much." Right? But before that, she came and said, "What did you do to my son?" And blah 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 blah. Made a big thing. But when I explained to her that what he was doing was very dangerous, and he could get hurt and hurt others, then she sort of calmed down a little bit and said, "Well, thank you very much." Kids are, attracted to, like, you get uh, a liquid that's set, like, that can be set on that can be uh, you put a match to it and it burns right away. So for a kid, that's like a very an interesting thing. They don't know how dangerous it is. And just like other kids, they don't know how dangerous it is to smoke or to engage in illicit sex or to take drugs. They don't know how dangerous it is. But then later on, when they get addicted to drugs, they begin to understand. But then it's too late because they're addicted. They can't stop doing self destructive activities. Okay, we will stop there and pray, Krishna, that all these people that are misled by false pundits should come to their senses and become genuine devotees and avoid all kinds of dangerous and very self destructive behaviors. Just like, in colleges, when there's a new new year of new persons who are
Oh,
in
freshman.
college,
Yeah,
right?
like a freshman.
Yeah, freshmen. Yeah. So if they join a fraternity, the people in the fraternity are demons, and sometimes they even kill these new students that come to go through what you would call um, a series of uh, you difficulties to be qualified to be part of their fraternity. Right? And sometimes kids are killed. You see how crazy these fraternities are. Yeah. When children are not educated properly, they become dangerous. They can kill other children. They can kill their parents. They can do so many things that are evil because they're not being educated properly. Now, you look at someone like Hitler, he was able to convince millions of people to engage in sinful activities. And what was the result? Many people were killed unnecessarily. You know, and they thought that Hitler and his philosophy was the absolute truth. Now, not all the uh, people uh, followed Hitler. There were a lot of people who thought he was crazy, right? But because when he took when he became very popular, and then he got uh, power, uh, people couldn't say anything because there were so many people that were duped or cheated by Hitler that it was dangerous to say anything. So and it wasn't only the Jews. I mean, Hitler killed different people that he thought were not worthy to live, like gypsies. He also massacred gypsies and other people that were not born with some kind of uh, you know some kind of disease or some kind of what do you call it? Different kinds of uh, physical problems. Some people are not like a normal human being, and so he would take these people and kill them because they didn't look right for him. You know. Okay, all goes to Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
And they would also, I mean, Hitler was crazy, he's completely crazy. He would, uh, he would determine who was a person that was worthy to live and who were people that were not worthy to live. And he was being followed by hundreds and thousands and millions of people. Very dangerous. And what's strange is even today, you have followers of Hitler. Even today, they have their groups and they have pictures of Hitler and uh, they're completely crazy. Okay, all glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you very much, my dear devotees. Please don't be duped by crazy people who have crazy philosophies and who are able to convince uneducated people to perform all kinds of heinous, horrible activities. Hare Krishna.